Hello everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. So continuing on our journey. So like in the previous coding challenge, we were trying to center using position, absolute, and relative, right? So let's see a little bit more about that, and then we will try to cover as many things as possible. Okay, just let me check. Just let me. Yeah. So basically, we were trying to cover. Okay, so this let me check if the stream is running. Sometimes Twitch does not work properly, so let's go back. Okay, so first, basically, let's understand positioning, right, little bit, so that we have an idea of how things are, and then we'll see. Now, okay, so so in positioning, like the famous two the famous two positioning that we are going to do is basically absolute and relative, right? So we'll see when what happens when we do relative, and what happens when we do absolute, right? So now okay, if you see positioning, let's have a small let's so if this is positioning, then we have two things. um so basically I don't know why it's coming this way. Let's get rid of. Oh, the pencil is not charged, right? So yeah, the broadly positioning is going to be we are going to do two things, right? Two types of positioning. That will be a relative and an absolute positioning, right? So we'll see first what does position relative do, and then we'll understand top and so basically I have two things over here. Um, Relative, and then I have absolute positioning, right? Now, when we say absolute, what we are doing is basically we are removing it um, from the normal flow and placing it relative to the nearest um, placing it relative to the positioning nearest positioned ancestor, right? So whatever is the first parent will be placed according to that. Now when you come to relative, right? So relative is in the document flow. So its relative is in the document flow. and relative to its original, relative to its position, relative to its document flow position, right? That means if if this is the document, and if the element is positioned over here in the document flow, then if I say down 10%, then sorry, if I say down 50 pixel, then this is going to be from here, like down from here 50 pixels. Okay. Now we have some properties called as top 50%, top and left, right? So when we are doing that, basically percentage units is basically related. So whenever we are using whenever we give percent, it's basically related to the printer, to the parent, right? So relative to parent. So for example here, now percentage is going to be relative to the parent, right? So when I do top 50% and bottom 50%, what is going to happen is the top edges are going to coincide. Basically what I'm, so if this is my parent element, so suppose this is the parent element, and inside that and this is my child, right? So this is my child. So initially it's placed here. So when I do top 50%, what is going to happen is um so when I do top 50%, so now uh when I'm going to do top 50, so it moves the elements top edge. So now this element, like this small box, is going to move from here 50%. So suppose if this is the 50%, so the edge is going to coincide. Now similarly when I do a left 50, so this is basically, okay, this is not top, I guess. So when I do a top 50%, what I'm going to do is so this, suppose this is the top, right? So from here I'm going to go so if this is, so from here I'm going to go 50% down. So the region where I come is this 50%. Now this edge is at 50% height. Now when I give it a left 50%, what is going to happen is, now from here what is going to happen, this is going to the inner box is going to move 50%. So if this is the 50% area, or no, let's have a bit better visual. If my 50% is coming over here, then this edge is centered, not the contents inside. So this edge will be exactly at center, that is top 50% and left 50%. Now now using only top, yeah, so same when I do left, I'm going to move it using the edges, right? So now how to center the inner content, like the because the content is still not centered, right? So what I need to do is I need to do uh, so when I do a transform translate of -50% and -50%, now this edge is centered right now. So what is centered is this edge. but I want the contents to be centered, right? So to content, so to center it, what I'm going to do is, okay. So now to center this, I need to move this like in backward direction, because the content is over here, which is centered inside the box. So if this is, I need to move the content from here to this position, right? So I need to move the box a little bit more towards the X, and then again a little bit upwards to reach this point, right? So I'll be doing a transform of my minus 50% in X, and then a minus 50% in Y. So when I do that thing, what is going to happen is, this box is, the content is, so the box, this edge will no longer be centered, it's the content that is going to be centered. So whenever you are using what do you say, top and left and position absolute to center, make sure that you're doing that translate of minus 50%. Now when I'm doing the transform translate, am I moving the inside or the container? Okay, am I moving the container, or but top and left is already centering the edge. When I do that transform translate, what is going to happen is, you fix it by, we are going to move the box back by half of its own width and height. So pulls the box back by half its size. Let's see, let's see this. So this is my container, right? So uh when I do top 50, top uh top 50% and left 50%, right? So this is what is going, so if this is total, okay, if this is total in say If this is total 400 pixels, and then if this is in total, so then from it's going to be uh, so here it's going to come, say this is going to be say 200, 200, right? So the top edge of the inner box will be placed here. The top edge is what is centered here. Now, but then this contents are not centered, right? So I need to move a little bit back. Now the center of the box. Why I'm moving by moving half of its own width. Why am I moving half of its own width? Okay, right now only the okay. So and the center of this box is over here. I get what he's trying to do. This is the center of the box. Let's have a look. So this is my box center. So if I want to move my box center over here, so this distance is going to be 50, and okay, I guess what he's trying to do is trying to okay. So this is going to be my 50, right? Because this is exactly at center. So this is going to be 50%, and this the distance from the center to the top is going to be 50%. So if I move it along x50, then this point will coincide over here. This is the center. Now if I move this along the y-axis, like if I move more 50 up here, then what am I going to be is my center is being so my then my center will be placed here. So I need to get that transform translate 50 50. I see. So absolute is going to be to so always remember absolute is the main takeaway is absolute is uh, position absolute is relative to the nearest position uh, ancestor. And then this is going to come out of down flow. So and then what we are going to do is we are going to break down. Now whenever I have a relative, so relative is relative to its actual position in the DOM. So if in the DOM it's present over here, then if I do position relative and I try to move it 10 pixels, so it will be, if this is the actual, and if I do positive 10 pixel along the x-axis, So then my point will be located over here. This is the final location. Okay, so yeah, so that's why if you see this is not centering here because I have not done that um, y-axis transform. So this actually the top edge is what is the top edge of this container is centered. I need to center it with the center of the content. So just move it 50-50%. Um, okay, so yeah, that's all for this session. I hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys another one where we are going to discuss why to use overlay or why to have an additional layer over when we are so if I add in a transform translate over here, so if I go here 50-50, okay, let's, there was somewhere it was here. So if I go here and I do if I just apply this rule saying, so now if you see is it's exactly behind this thing. Okay, now what we can do is we can go here and we can just do an inspect. See, it's getting it's hidden because it's exactly behind this thing. So if I open this, if you open the main, the clock is exactly centered. This is the clock, right? It's exactly, it's overlapped on top of the outer container. Yeah, so I hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys in the I'll see you guys in the next one. Till that time, I'll see you with another session where we are going to talk about the importance having an when you have an image, you do not place the text directly over the image. It is not a very good practice. We'll be using some overlay or something in between to work. So I hope you guys liked it. That's all for this lesson. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till that time, take care. Bye bye.